Now we're going to go ahead and get into our Mount Rushmore. Now, for those of
Yes.
you who don't know what this is, we created this player greatness index, this point system. We keep track of stats, and then we put a weighting on the stats. We also put weighting on accolades, like team accolades would be like championships, where the player has some contribution to it, but this shouldn't necessarily make it all about them. We don't necessarily put so much weight on a championship. This is the whole reason why we started this whole process, is because we wanted to take away the subjectivity of who the greatest players were. We wanted to
Yep.
make it as objective as possible. So we came up
Correct.
with this system, and that's why we went ahead and did this. We are going to go ahead and crown the Mount Rushmore of undrafted players in NBA
Okay.
history. All right. What we're going to do here is, whenever Tuan and I disagree, we're going to make a case for the player. Once we're finished with that, then we're going to go ahead and show you what the player greatness index ranks them and in the order that they should be ranked. The way that we're doing it right now for this subjective way of assigning the Mount Rushmore for undrafted players, we're not doing it necessarily in the order. We're just throwing out names. Let me go ahead and ask you, who would you say right now is a no-brainer on the undrafted list?
To me, it's Ben Wallace
I agreed with that.
and Haslem.
And Udonis Haslem.
I think they're two no-brainers. Yes.
Wow. Okay. I didn't have you. Well, actually, no, I do have Udonis Haslem. I do have Udonis Haslem and Ben Wallace. Okay. Now, who are the other guys?
Then after that, I struggled between three names.
Okay.
So the three names that I struggled with was Bruce Bowen,
I had Bruce Bowen. So
Fred
that's
Van,
three of them.
Fred VanVleet,
I had Fred VanVleet.
and Alex Caruso.
Okay.
Those are the three guys that I struggle with, and who I ended up with was Ben Wallace,
Yep.
Haslam, Bowen, and Caruso.
Oh, dude, I had Fred
up.
VanVleet. I have Fred VanVleet over Caruso.
Okay.
And
I
the thing
went
is,
back and forth with that. And a couple of things made me lean towards Caruso. Number one, he has 2 championships versus 1 for VanVleet.
right. Yep.
Number 2, he's a 2-time all-defensive team, and I don't believe VanVleet's ever made either all-NBA
No.
team. Those are the 2 stats that kind of had me lean towards Caruso. Plus Caruso won 2 championships with 2 different teams. To me, that kind of went a little extra as well. That's why I lean towards Caruso.
The 2 titles to 1 title. Okay. Fred VanVleet has 1 for the Raptors. Caruso has 2, 1 for the Lakers and 1 for the Thunder. So Fred VanVleet has been an all-star. Caruso has not, but Caruso has the other accolades. You're talking about defensive. So that kind of cancels each other out on that front.
Yes and no, though. I would argue, Eddie, because the All-Star game's kind of a popularity.
It's a popularity contest.
Yeah, and the All-NBA, there's a little bit more metrics that go into that.
Well, he's all defensive. You're talking about all defensive, not all NBA, all defensive.
Sorry. For an all defense or all offense or all NBA, there's a little more thought.
Those are voted by the coaches and writers and so forth. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. It's not a bad thought, man. I had Fred VanVleet. You have Alex Caruso. The one interesting tidbit about Fred VanVleet, he has the largest contract for an undrafted player in the history of the NBA. If I were to compare and contrast both those players, just the eye test, I would say Caruso is the better player.
Yeah.
Just the eye test.
Yeah.
I would say he's the better overall player because he does both things very well. Well, Fred VanVleet's a better shooter, but Caruso can shoot too. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Alex Caruso is a good choice. For those of you who are not watching or listening to us on the car or not necessarily looking at it, we're actually just showing, our Mount Rushmore. You can see our Mount Rushmore shows Ben Wallace, Udonis Haslem, Bruce Bowen, and Alex Caruso. Again, we had agreed on Ben Wallace, Udonis Haslem, and Bruce Bowen.
Correct.
And we disagreed on Alex Caruso and Fred VanVleet. I gave into the Alex Caruso pick that I think Tuan made a good case for it. And the eye test, I just think Alex Caruso overall better player.
The most impressive thing, you look at Haslem, you look at Bowen, and you look at Caruso. They're all bench role players. Wallace is one that you could argue was a big part. To me, he was a bigger part of his championships than those other 3 guys were of theirs, in my opinion.
But he's the only one out of this list that's in the Hall of Fame. The only one. And he's a 4-time defensive player of the year, Ben Wallace.
Correct.
So he's like the no-brainer. He is the George Washington on this list.
Absolutely. He stands alone. I mean, obviously it's stretching it, but you can get him into arguments of greatest centers of all time. He wouldn't be there, but he'd be on the lower end of having that argument. He had a very good career.
So what I was going to bring up as you're talking about Ben Wallace is, Udonis Haslem the accolade about him, he's a 3-time champion. He's the Heat all-time leading rebounder. So Bruce Bowen, he's a 3-time champion, and he's an 8-time all-defensive player. So the first 3 were no-brainers on this list. The last one is the one we had to go ahead and argue.
Just to throw somebody else up there, Austin Reaves was someone that was.
He was another one.
Yeah,
I agree.
And he may knock someone off of this, not yet, in my opinion, but in terms of this argument, he may.
So that's a good little segue for those not in front of the computer and are listening to us. There's another Rushmore of undrafted players according to our PGI or Player Greatness Index.
Correct.
And what's interesting here is I'm gonna go ahead and put another caption here. What I have here are all of the index numbers for each of these players. Now, Connie Hawkins, look at his number, 2,693. That's his Player Greatness Index. He is now the George Washington, according to our PGI, over Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace is 1,996.8. Again, this is a kind of a stock price, but a fixed stock price if their career is over. And this is what they are overall rated based on all of their accolades, based on all of their stats, based on all of their accomplishments as a player from All-Stars, any defensive player of the year, or any of the all defensive or all NBA. We factored all that in, and Connie Hawkins is number 1. Well, that was very surprising, man, when I saw that.
Yes.
Ben Wallace is second. The third guy is who you just brought up, Austin Reaves. His number is 1,773.2, and he's only 4 years into the league. Now, again, I take this into it's normalized based on how many years they have served in the league. So if they're accumulating a lot of stats in the short period of time, they're going to show out very well.
As the years increase, those numbers flatten out a little.
They start flattening out, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's interesting now, after that, Fred VanVleet is after him. Fred VanVleet is 1,706.4. Now look at your boy Alex Caruso. He's dead last. Which is interesting because with the eye test, he looks like the better player. But from a stats standpoint, Fred VanVleet's the better player, which is interesting. John Starks is after that. He's 1,689.2. Brad Miller, who's another undrafted player. I met the guy, by the way, in Sacramento. He's a huge dude. Yeah, Brad Miller. So Brad Miller's 1,438.9. Bruce Bowen, who was actually the second guy on this list, he's now at 1,239.4. That's his overall rating. Avery Johnson is another undrafted player.
The little general.
The little general, and the guy who just enunciated every word. You should go out there and play hard.
My name is Avery Johnson.
He's just an enunciation king. What's interesting is that we had Udonis Haslem as a no-brainer number 2, but yet he's only 1,153.9 on this list.
This is interesting.
Last, Alex Caruso being the 4th one on our list goes to show you that the numbers show different of Mount Rushmore. It shows Connie Hawkins, Ben Wallace, Austin Reaves, and Fred VanVleet, where we had Ben Wallace, Udonis Haslem, Bruce Bowen, and the last one, Alex Caruso. Very interesting, man.
Oh, so a little, and I'm sure you came across this as well, Eddie, a little side note on Connie Hawkins. What's interesting about Hawkins is he got blackballed because there was some controversy that he was shaving points when he was in college. It wasn't so much that he wasn't drafted because of skill. He was blackballed from the league because of the rumored scandal. Then once his name got cleared, obviously he got picked up and then he played. So had that scandal not happened, or had he been cleared quickly enough, he might have not even been on this list and actually got drafted. Because those of you that remember in those days, the NBA draft was like 10 rounds or something. There was a lot of picks in the NBA draft.
Hey everybody, this is William Del Pilar, founder of Grumblings Media, and I want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our all-volunteer efforts at Grumblings Media, smash the subscribe button right here. 100% free, and please consume and share our great content. Click either one of these 2 boxes for more of our work.